Like Meghan, Pippa Middleton tried to monetize status gained by connection with the royals, but found happiness turning her back on fame, writes Christopher Wilson. Friends and admirers of Meghan are steeling themselves for the first live reviews of her new Netflix show, which debuts tomorrow. Will it be a car crash or a runaway success? So far, previews of the Duchess of Sussex's 8-part homemaking series have been somewhat less than enthusiastic. A laughingstock of epic proportions, said one writer who's watched clips from With Love Meghan. Everything Meghan says in the trailer is a twee platitude that could have been ripped off an IKEA poster, wrote another, quoting the Duchess saying, "We're not in the pursuit of perfection, we're in the pursuit of joy. The tone," goes on the previewer, "is so jarringly earnest it feels sinister." Little more than an exercise in showing us how lovely Meghan's kitchen looks on camera, and it's not even her kitchen, wrote another. According to Netflix, in the show the Duchess blends practical how-tos and candid conversation with friends, new and old. It will see her sharing personal tips and tricks, embracing playfulness over perfection, and highlighting how easy it can be to create beauty, even in the unexpected. But these early indicators seem dangerously reminiscent of another royal by association, Pippa Middleton, who tried to monetize her close ties with the royal family more than a decade ago. Just like Meghan, Kate's younger sister set herself up as an influencer and public figure, but instead faced mockery. Pippa achieved overnight fame at the 2011 Westminster Abbey wedding of Kate and Prince William, her pert derriere in its white bridesmaid's dress in danger of upstaging her sister's big day. Until then, she'd had a humble job working for the family firm Party Pieces, but after one royal wedding just like Meghan, she was suddenly world famous. And she quickly set out to capitalize on her newfound status. In 2012, she published her book, Celebrate, a lifestyle guide similar in outlook to Meghan's upcoming TV series, spreading across cookery, picnics, children's parties, and other homespun delights. But immediately she ran into a brick wall of blistering criticism, reviewers and public alike mocking her for the sheer banality of what she wrote. Turkeys are perfect for feeding larger gatherings, especially at Christmas, was one of her offerings. She described in detail how to organize a sack race for children and how to play pass the parcel. She'd been paid a whopping £400,000 advance by publishers Michael Joseph, part of the same group that shelled out £22 million for Prince Harry's book Spare, and an undisclosed amount for Meghan's children's book, The Bench, now available, incidentally, for as little as 50p on Amazon. But within weeks, a source at her America publisher Viking was quoted as saying, "Pippa's Celebrate sales are nothing to celebrate. She was a superstar after the royal wedding, and everyone thought she'd be a success. But even Sarah Ferguson sold more books than her." Allegedly, the sequel to Celebrate was cancelled, and she was dropped by her agent. Ever hopeful, Pippa moved on, signing up to write a column for the Daily Telegraph. It disappeared after 6 attempts. She faced a hail of criticism from professional chefs. When, untrained in the kitchen, she signed up to write a column for Waitrose Food. The doyen of cookery writers, Delia Smith, was dropped in favor of Pippa, but within a handful of issues she was back, and Pippa was toast. Next, she signed up as a contributing editor for Vanity Fair magazine. But that didn't last long either. Howls of laughter erupted when she wrote about a trip to Wyoming, describing it as real cowboy country. Everyone wears cowboy boots, and the men have mustaches that curl upwards. Like Meghan, she hoped to make her global breakthrough with a TV show and flew to New York at the behest of broadcaster NBC. But her first broadcast never even made it to air. She failed to convince in her pilot, said an insider, and her $400,000 contract foundered. Her failing, wrote one critic at the time, is she can never escape the trap of stating the bleeding obvious. Certainly, Pippa's fleeting moments of fame did her no harm. Financially lucrative offers kept coming until the bubble burst, but she was bruised by the criticism and her perceived failure. But just like her sister Kate, she's made of stern stuff, and sensing a growing wave of unpopularity, turned away from trading on her royal connections to doing good works. In 2014, she became an ambassador for the British Heart Foundation and took part in the Race Across America, a 3,000-mile cycling ride across the United States, followed by the Bosphorus swimming race, a 6.5-kilometer swimming competition in Istanbul, raising considerable funds for the charity. She took part in the London to Brighton bike ride for the BHF and participated in a 47-mile swim-run competition in Sweden. She found a new purpose in life when she met and married James Matthews, the hedge fund manager and former professional racing driver who is heir to a 10,000-acre Scottish estate. The couple now have 3 children and live peacefully on the Barton Court estate at Kintbury on the banks of the River Kennet in Berkshire. Inside the rising trend of hate watching and why it could make Meghan's new TV show a sensation due to viewers binging it just so they can get involved in conversations about how much it annoyed them. When hundreds of thousands of viewers, perhaps even a few million, tune in to watch Meghan's new cookery show on Tuesday, not all will be fans of the royal. Media experts believe that for many people, the allure of the 8-part Netflix series will not be fun, love, or joy, but hate. They will be taking part in the rising trend of hate watching, which involves tuning into a show you despise for a rather unique pleasure. After all, studies have shown that hating something can trigger a strong emotional response, just like love, which causes positive neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin to flood the brain. It explains why on a biological level, hating can feel good. The craze has become quite the phenomenon on Netflix, with more and more viewers self-confessing to sitting down for a hate-watching spree. And now, the media insider and Guardian columnist Marina Hyde has said she believes the Duchess of Sussex's new show, titled With Love, Meghan, could be a beneficiary of the trend. On a recent episode of her The Rest is Entertainment podcast, which she co-hosts with author Richard Osman, she said, "When these shows come out, they are bingeable. So, you have got a hangover and you will watch 4 hours of it. It is like a 4-hour doom scroll, and you will get completely involved in it. Hate watching causes the release of dopamine, adrenaline, serotonin, so I do think that chemically Meghan's show could have a whole lot going for it." Another big aspect of hate watching, which Meghan might benefit from, is that they have become party fueled by the snark contest of social media. Viewers now regularly revel in finding mistakes and analyzing awfulness, just as much as they delight in quality programming. Experts say hate watchers exhibit the same symptoms as fans, such as watching every episode and micro-analyzing it with other viewers, all while still abhorring what they are watching. It's a form of expertise, just like fandom is a form of expertise. Jolie Jensen, a media studies professor at the University of Tulsa, told the BBC, "You're getting pleasure from trying to figure out why it's not giving you pleasure. But don't worry, haters, the good news is that being so is totally normal. Because humans are naturally voyeuristic, hate watching can prompt us to compare ourselves to who we're seeing." J.R. Ilagan, a clinical psychologist based in Manila, told Vice, "The hate that we're referring to here is more toward public content, public personas, and so on. I mean, it's fun to hate people together. You have a common enemy, I guess you could say." Marina seemed to agree with the academics, commenting on her podcast, "We do know that social media has sometimes changed how we watch television, as people sometimes want to be part of various conversations. And there are certain shows that are sort of lightning rods for that. And often many shows come out on New Year's Day, and people are like, I watched it when I was hungover, I hated it, but of course I watched the whole thing." And there is a lot of that sort of thing about, and people go into a frenzy to be a part of the conversation. I actually do think it is a thing, and I do think it makes a difference. I think they enjoy being part of a negative conversation. I'm sorry to say, people love to be part of a pile-on. Otherwise, it wouldn't keep happening. Fans and haters alike have been eagerly awaiting Meghan's TV show after its highly produced trailer released in January, which showed her inviting friends and celebrities to California, where she shares cooking, gardening, and hosting tips. The new series will see the Duchess, 43, and her guests roll up their sleeves in the kitchen, the garden, and beyond, and invite you to do the same, according to Netflix promotional material. Guests include Roy Choi, Mindy Kaling, Alice Waters, with additional acclaimed chefs and special friends, and there will be 8 episodes, each lasting 33 minutes. However, Meghan still seems to have a sizable fanbase online, so not all of the viewers will be hate watchers. But because all viewers are counted in the ratings, shows can become hits if enough people dislike them. In the eyes of a streaming company like Netflix, hate watching and love watching are the same thing. The pressure for Harry and Meghan to deliver a ratings hit is on, with some experts believing that this latest offering is their last throw of the dice. The couple signed an £80 million 5-year deal with Netflix in 2020, but other than their 2022 docuseries about their decision to leave the royal family, all of their shows have been flops. The documentary about social justice Live to Lead in 2022, another in 2023 about the Invictus Games, and another in 2024 about the sport of polo all failed to draw audiences. Those shows were presumably already watched by the Sussex's fan base, so perhaps the key to the latest attempt's success can be found in cultivating a second audience of hate watchers. But maybe Meghan is already aware of this, as although she has often spoken about the negative aspects of social media, she made the unexpected decision to return to Instagram at the beginning of this year. Since then, she has used the platform and her fast-growing follower base to promote the show incessantly by sharing the trailer and behind-the-scenes content. And just like with watching TV shows you despise, alongside the rise of social media, there has also unsurprisingly been a growing trend of hate following. It's when people can't get their eyes off TikTokers and influencers that make their blood boil for similar reasons to hate watchers. Having a dedicated set of them has already apparently made one TV show a runaway success, Emily in Paris. It chronicles the goofy adventures of a peppy young American abroad in a tongue-in-cheek series. But although it is usually brought up as the perfect hate-watching experience, figures show it has grown to become one of the most watched in Netflix history. Harry and Meghan's only successful TV show, their 2022 one about Megxit, seemingly already tapped into this trend. Although it was widely panned by viewers and critics due to its relentless woe is me tone, only scoring 5.1/10 on IMDb, it did pull in the ratings, becoming Netflix's second highest ranked documentary ever. And it appears humans have been hate-watching for a long time, as even before the internet, Mystery Science Theater 3000 became a cult hit in the 1990s by showing people watching terrible sci-fi movies and picking them apart with acid commentary. However, not everyone, including Osman, believes that hate-watching is a real phenomenon. On a recent podcast episode, he said, "I don't buy that hate-watching thing apart from the first half an hour of something and apart from the odd Instagram clip. I don't buy it in terms of if Meghan wants to have that show running for 10 seasons, that's not a hate-watch thing. That is a lot of people like it thing. People sometimes hate-watch the first episode of something, certainly in the old days you would do it. I don't buy it. Of course it adds something and it makes a noise, but you cannot have a career in television, you cannot have a career in any other creative arts without connecting with an audience who loves what you do." The experts are quick to point out that hate-watching differs from other types of less-than-loving consumption, such as a guilty pleasure watch. Guilty pleasures are usually a piece of work the viewer knows isn't high art, but likes anyway, such as Love Island or Strictly Come Dancing. It seems that, with Love, Meghan has already begun to attract the dedicated hate watchers, despite only a short trailer and preview snippets being released. Podcast hosts Osman and Ms. Hyde got in on the action on their podcast last week when they mocked the trailer of the show for its inauthentic, farm-to-table bull asterisk, 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 asterisk. Meghan's cringeworthy phrase to find joy in every moment was also laughed at, with Ms. Hyde joking, "She is the godhead, you are supposed to be the worshipper." The duo even jested that the show might change halfway through into a brilliant satire or be used to launch a sitcom. However, despite mocking the show for most of the podcast, the pair tellingly admitted they would be tuning in nevertheless. Osman said, "Listen, whether it is hate watch or whatever it is, a lot of people will want to have an opinion on it and will want to have watched it. We certainly will both be watching it.